inside.
It's very hot.
Held my head up high.
Thank you. I forgot the words.
I actually went to go see him in concert a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Saw Stained and Godsmack, and Godsmacked was shit-faced and forgot the lyrics. Right.
Wait, what?
Forgot the lyrics on songs that they were not too entertaining, so we left early. And then a couple days later, it was Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg.
What a difference.
Hell yes.
Wiz Khalifa, presently surprised by his performance. That was good.
Wiz Khalifa's the best. I got like 4 or 5 jams of his on my workout playlist.
Oh yeah, Black and Yellow, baby.
And that's it.
That's all of them. That's all he has. It's a very short playlist. Yeah. But let's keep this cold open short, shall we?
School background. I like
I'll edit that.
Was Wiz Pursuit of Happiness? He was Pursuit of Happiness, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Oh yes. Great song.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi.
Am I thinking Kid Cudi? Yeah. Never mind. Wiz Khalifa sucks. Kid Cudi rocks.
That's not true either.
There was a lot of smoke there. I cannot remember.
I think that's why they always have a good show.
It was a good time. And speaking of good times, takers, welcome back, baby. We are your tippers here. Still working on a new intro. Waiting for our voice actor to get a little something done before we bring that and unveil that. But takers, welcome back to Just a Tip, a fantasy football podcast. We are your tippers. We give you our tips. So you win championships. You take home championships, that is. We got IR Regan clicking the pen, all nervous for the draft this weekend. Thank you. How you doing, man?
Nervous for the draft this weekend. You nailed it.
What is your strategy? We have redrafts coming up, our longest running one this Saturday.
Yeah, what 14, Ryan? Year 14?
Year 14, man. 2008
wow.
was the first year, I think. 2009.
I jumped in like 2010 or 11. But I'm excited. I'm glad we're not super early. You know, we had actually it's Thursday. We're recording on Thursday. It's the first set of preseason games, really. So we get a little see something. So it's exciting, and I'm just glad to be back here. We got to get in this, and this is how I do well in fantasy: is just steal ideas from you two. So this is great.
Oh, there you go. You can do well when opposite. I was gonna say you could do well with the reigning champion, Ryan the Tagless Haynes. How you doing, champ?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's going to be tough to, I don't know. It's going to be tough to repeat this year for sure. I'm picking from 11th. I don't love it. I don't love the spot, but you know, we'll make it work, baby. I got like 4 straight playoff appearances, something like that.
Everybody gets lucky.
My years and stats are. I just like updated all that today. I think we started in 2010, and I think I have 2 years in a row for playoff appearances. So I'm exaggerating a bit tonight.
It's all right. We don't have to get numbers and stats right.
Yeah, whatever.
Fantasy football show. Jeez, it's not like we wrote them down. It's all good. It's not like we ripped them off somebody else. Some other database.
Write them down.
You didn't write anything down.
No.
But I'm doing good too, fellas. Thanks for asking. Reigning Dynasty champ, New England Football League. You're welcome.
I just got in that league.
I know. You still have a couple years before you can dethrone me.
Yeah.
But don't worry, I'll be down in that toilet bowl in 3 years because I definitely sold myself out for this one. So it'll be a fun time. I am picking from the 8th spot this Saturday. And if Eckler or Bijan are there, I'm taking them. If they're not, going best wide receiver on the board. And the way that I've been doing that with mocks, I'm liking the team. So we'll see. We'll discuss more fantasy football content. Redraft here, takers. Not really much dynasty talk unless we specify. 12-team leagues, full PPR, 6-point passing touchdowns, unless we specify. Otherwise, yeah,
ridiculous
that word.
Scoring.
Yeah, I know. Just lots of points. But takers, if you have any questions, feel free to hit us up. Just a tip, FFP. Everywhere you can find us on Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff. And feel free to hit us up. YouTube, hit the subscribe button and like the video if you could. And you can watch us on Spotify too. Watch the videos there if you like. Rate and review on Apple and Spotify. Be much appreciated. All right, guys. For tip-off question. Let's go.
You're killing me, Petey. You're killing me.
Oh,
I think the real question, guys, before we get into actual questions, is,
Oh, no.
did you guys add more leagues this year?
yes.
Yes, I did.
How can you not?
Did you?
Nope.
Ah.
I broke even. I switched one out for your Dynasty League. I jumped out of another one so I could keep some sanity. So I'm doing pretty good. So I got 3 Dynasty Leagues now. So
In 1 month, our sanity's gone, man. I don't know what you're trying to hold on to there, but when football starts, it's gone. But yeah, so how many leagues am I in? I don't even know, but I'm starting up one. It's gonna be a 10-team league. I'm in like 12, I think. I gotta count when I can think. Including Scott Fishbowl.
Oh.
Little update, takers. We had our draft in Boston at the Lansdowne Pub, which was a great time. Had some fellow takers there to help me out drafting there. Newman, Antonio, Miles. Appreciate you guys helping us out. But this is our squad here. Figured I'd lead off with this. It is.
Oh no, running back, baby.
Hey, listen, you get a quarter point for each rush. So you figured, hey, Josh Jacobs, he should get a lot, right?
Sure.
Hey, he's got Zamir White.
I did get the Zamir White.
Okay, all right.
I like that. At least something.
Then I got a lot of handcuffs just in case. But we also did this in the beginning of July. What was it? July 14th we did this draft. So it's super flex league, no negative points. So I took quarterbacks that, chuck it up. Who cares? Trevor Lawrence and Geno. And then the tight ends get like 2 points per reception. And you get a point for a first down.
And we can play 2.
And we could play 4, actually.
Oh, done.
Jesus.
So I did Mark Andrews and Darren Waller. I wanted them. And then Taysom Hill, just in case he takes over as a quarterback and you can throw him in your tight end slot. So we have 3 quarterbacks starting. That'd be wild. And K-Dot in late. Definitely need another tight end. But we'll see. If you're watching takers, I'm not going to list the whole team. But, yeah.
I like
How many running backs you got to start? How many running backs? What's the minimum?
2 to 6 running backs.
2 to 6.
3 to 6 wide receivers, and then 1 to 4 tight ends, I think. Then you got to do a kicker, and then you can do 2 quarterbacks max.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So the starting lineup right now looks like Trevor Lawrence, Geno. Tight ends will be Waller and Mark Andrews, and Josh Jacobs. Antonio Gibson, Devin Singletary, Rashad Penny. It's just gross for running back. We should have done better. Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, and Treylon Burks. Maybe Michael Thomas for a game. We'll see.
Maybe.
I'm gonna
game.
drink to that one just because I'm nervous.
Yeah, please do. Say a prayer. Prayer circle around Michael Thomas. Yeah, that's what my summer's been. Concerts and Scott Fishbowl.
Hey, sounds awesome.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
All right. You guys have anything? You guys any keepers that you're entertaining? Yeah, I know we're in keeper leagues. So you takers out there, if you have questions, feel free to hit us up and we'll discuss and get back to you. I only got one that I'm really debating. It's just Tyreek Hill in the 3rd or Lamar Jackson in the 10th. It's a 10-team league. And you start 3 wide receivers. So I'm thinking, no, just 1.
All right.
So I'm thinking just Hill. That way I lock him in.
What pick are you?
We haven't decided yet. I think we have a competition or something. to do it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, if you could get that, I don't know. I guess if you keep Hill and then you get early, again, you can get another stud wide receiver, then you're set. Yeah, I think I'd keep Hill.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking.
I see what you're thinking, though. Like, Lamar in the 10th, I know we've been saying this for 3 years now, but if he ever returns to that MVP status, he was like, he just win you weeks. But 10-team league with Hill in the 3rd, you can't beat that value, I don't think.
Yeah, with one QB, it just makes sense. There's going to be plenty.
Yeah, get a first-round wide receiver in the 3rd round. I think I'm going to take that value.
I like it. Yeah,
pretty simple.
I got one keeper league, and I'm keeping Geno Smith in the 10th, Travis Etienne in the 9th, and actually Treylon Burks in the 8th.
Okay.
10-team league.
All right, man.
Two QB league.
Who else would you keep besides Treylon Burks? That's the one on the fence? Yeah, no other decision.
So Treylon Burks, I think he's going in the 6th or 7th round. Or he might be, because it's only 10 teams as well. But the rosters are pretty stacked in general. I had a year last year that you guys know was horrible. So I have a lot of free agents because I dropped like everybody because I was just angry at life. And that's kind of who I got. I don't really have anybody. I don't have to keep 3. You actually don't have to. But I was just like, well, I'm going to get Treylon Burks a round or 2 early. I'll just keep him. It makes more sense. Why not?
You said in the 8th round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some value there. And great value
carry over.
Not much. But in a 2 QB league, Geno Smith in the 10th is amazing.
Perfect.
Travis Etienne was probably going like the 5th in a 10 team. So that's not bad either. I'm getting the 9th.
Not at all. They're young guys too, so besides Geno, but skilled guys, so.
Yeah, that's the thing. You only can keep these guys for 3 years. That's why I'm missing a couple other like good ones because I had Jalen Hurts, but I can't keep him this year, and there was another guy I can't keep. So it kind of screws me over after a little while.
Yeah, kind of, but it's still good value. I like it. Ryan, you want to take your 20 minutes here to explain what happened with college football and the shuffling of divisions and stuff?
Hell no,
not doing that. And we lost our one listener.
Conference realignment and more about the players specifically. That's my interest.
Mm-hmm. Anybody that you're looking at in particular excited to see, or are you just focused on NFL lately?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I've been focusing more on baseball, to be honest, more than anything else. But I'm curious to see kind of where the running backs line up, especially in Superflex formats next year. Because like early 23 mocks, real early, obviously, guys like Travion Henderson, Raheem Sanders, they're going like 5th, 6th, because you have a fairly deep quarterback class. You got like Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out. So it's going to be interesting to see if you can get some, if these mid-round picks can turn into like a running back stud next year.
It's going to be a wild year. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Predicting it, calling it now. Because everybody's like, oh, this quarterback, P's going to be the number one. No, P's going to be. I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. right now. You say it's Caleb Williams. You say it is.
Yeah, you never know. You never know, right?
You don't.
You got Drake May, and somebody else might make a push too. Hey, do I get to put my briefs on? Are we ready?
I thought you're taking them out and showing us what's inside your brief.
Oh, that's what I do. I don't put them on and take them off.
You don't. I hope.
Are the Haynes.
All right.
I just show them off. That's all.
Just remember, keep it brief.
Okay.
Sweet sassy molassie.
Hopefully this is brief. We're gonna talk some running backs here, some guys that we need answers for on draft day. So Jonathan Taylor, we're gonna cut through all the nonsense. We know about it. Contract dispute that's not going away. Wants to be traded. Probably not going to be traded. He's got a back injury. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. Who knows? He's got the lingering ankle injury. What the hell do we do with Jonathan Taylor? On Saturday, the dude was running back 3 like 2.5 weeks ago. Now he's dropped to running back 7 on Fantasy Pros ADP and overall 17th. My question to you guys is, personally, where are you comfortable taking him?
I think
Eighth-
right off the bat,
8th round.
oh Jesus.
In other words, I'm not touching.
It's not a wrong answer. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, well, I'm obviously not drafting a running back in this probably draft anyways. But
In the
just in
draft.
general,
Just none. He
none.
makes zero RB strategy legit.
I'm gonna get wide receiver, a running back eligible players just so I can have both. Anyways, there's been so many stats going around and everything, and there's a lot of nonsense. But at the same time, they now have a rushing QB in Richardson. He wasn't going to finish at 3. It doesn't happen with a rushing quarterback ever. He's not going to finish 3. That was his height. You said he's going at 7. I still think it's impossible, even if he was there, to finish that high. So I would have him at like 11, 12 tops. And since there's a possibility he's going to miss time, if not be there, I'm not taking him for 5 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even practicing with the team. They gave him permission to practice off-site.
Elsewhere.
It's,
He's
yeah,
rehabbing his ankle elsewhere.
It's just it's not good news. Just like when I say 7th round, like that's when I'm like, all right, I already have my 3 wide receivers, maybe my tight end, and maybe 2 running backs already. Like, all right, maybe I'll take a chance on him. Because if he doesn't play all year, it's the 7th round. You can come back from that.
Those top 5 picks, man, those first 5 rounds are so important. And if you pick a guy like Jonathan Taylor who doesn't end up showing up or playing or underperforms or whatever's going on, like that could really put a blemish on your whole season. So it's not that you can't make mistakes in those 5 rounds. It just doesn't give you a lot of leash. So like if somebody else goes down and gets hurt, you're effed. 2 guys go down and get hurt, you're really like. It just puts you behind. So I'm in the same boat. Like I'm staying away from him. I'd be curious to see what happens when like I'm actually face to face. If like he drops to the 3rd, 4th round and I'm looking at him, like what do you do? And so we'll see what happens. I know. I think I'm holding firm. And the same can be asked about this guy, Josh Jacobs. So unofficial depth chart comes out from the that they've released. Zamir White's listed as running back 1. Jacobs wants he wants out of there. He wants a trade as well. What's first of all, do we see him playing with Vegas? This doesn't seem as contentious as the Taylor situation. And what are we doing with him on draft day? Are we also just avoiding him as well? Mac?
Remember when we talked back in June and you said, don't worry about this guy holding out.
I did say
big
that.
Deal.
Yeah.
Him and
Saquon.
and
that. Yep.
Yeah. You were right about Saquon. And I said one of them, I think I did. I got to check the tape. I say it? All right. One of them is going to screw us over. And it's Josh Jacobs. Hopefully he does get traded and get paid somewhere, but it just won't happen. Sadly. Pay the man. Like, don't give him 340 carries and not pay the guy. Like, thank you for your service. Sorry we sucked, but here you go.
I love how Miles Sanders has come out of all of this, making $12 million a year. Saquon had to fight for that. Jacobs is like, trying to fight for probably a little bit more than that. But good for Miles Sanders, dude.
Yeah, Eckler and Jacobs have a good point. Like, why should I be paid less than the wide receiver 3 who barely touches the ball and barely gets you 500 yards during the season and maybe 2 touchdowns? Like, Eckler scoring 18 touchdowns. Like, where's the value? Okay, he's a running back. He's more of a wide receiver, Eckler, than anybody. And Josh Jacobs carried that team to some wins. Like, pay the man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's the concept of this whole conversation, where you taking JT compared to Jacobs. I'm taking Jacobs in the 3rd round still.
Yeah.
He would still, if JT comes in, I'm worried about the whole QB situation, him not getting as much work in the first place. Josh Jacobs comes in. He's not going to skip a beat. He's way better than Zamir White. Their offense needs him so bad. McDaniels is going to get fired this year if they don't do something properly in some games. So they are going to put him in there, and he's going to kill it. I bank on that before I'd bank on JT at all.
Of course, he's healthy too. He's not coming off of an injury. Yeah,
You do have to know, like, last year was his best year, but you know what he can do. So, just take it.
But he has been top. He's been top 12. Like I think just about every year. I think it's been every year he's been top 12.
It's amazing. The last year is what necessarily the number one rusher.
Yeah, first year in the top 5, but still, I mean, you're right. It's a more solidified offensive situation. He's healthy. If he comes back, he's going to be ready to go. But still, if I'm looking, I mean, third round, I might take my chances on him too. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Depends on who's there.
He's only 25. He needs to make a stand. So I don't blame him for holding out. Yeah, he had 21, 8, 11, and 3 were his finishes. 21 is rookie year. That wasn't bad.
Okay.
But he didn't play that many games either.
Yeah.
He didn't start every game. But yeah, that guy she slept in his car like before he made it big. Like he will hold out. And I don't think he gives a fuck about anybody. So get your money, Jacobs.
That's it for the briefs, boys. So let's dive into some injuries. Is that what we're going into next?
Yeah, we'll get to the Hurt Locker. Thank you for keeping your news brief, just like all your activities are brief there, Ryan.
That's what he said.
And keep up with the news on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram stories. We'll keep you updated on these running backs. But yeah, we'll let you know, takers. Good luck, Godspeed if you have a draft this weekend. But yeah, let's get to the Hurt Locker.
Alrighty, boys. Welcome to the Hurt Locker. The one thing we dread the most during OTAs and preseason. It's rough. We'll start off with Cooper Kupp. This one's very scary. I feel like they're downplaying it. It's a hammy injury. I just don't want this to happen again, is the problem. There's no times table on him. I'm worried about them downplaying it, but they say it's not going to keep him out. He should be back for week 1. But that is definitely something that could linger. A hammy for a wide receiver is very big. We've seen this happen several times. And if the wide receiver doesn't give it time to heal, it's something that could linger for a while.
You're right. It's a big muscle.
Oh, yeah. I got
the hammy.
Muscles.
The hammy.
Oh, sorry. Let's keep it moving before these corny jokes start flowing.
I was going to say, all right, you read through the list so that I'll make my stand-up career shine.
All right, awesome. Joe Burrow, calf strain. This is a scary one right after I got T. Higgins in Dynasty. That was great. Joe Burrow, I think he should be fine. He's a quarterback. He's not a very mobile quarterback. Mobile more than some others, but he's going to be fine for week 1. Jalen Waddle, Mac, I'm sure you threw up a little bit when you saw this injury. I saw them on the field, the little screenshot. There is nothing's come out, which is usually bad news. I'm just going to put it out there now. No injury news at all.
I was wondering with the something question mark on the doc. The takers can't see it. I'm looking at like hammy, calf strain, something. Okay,
no.
That doesn't seem legitimate.
Yeah, it's something to the body, but like lower body, I guess. So, but nothing coming out from everything I've been trying to find. So, yeah.
Let's keep moving though. I got Kenneth Walker and Miles Sanders both have groin injuries. Miles Sanders just came out today, I think, with the groin injury. He's going to be held out of practice in the preseason game. I think they play Saturday. So that's very nerve-wracking for a running back. I love Miles Sanders where his ADP is. As a player, awesome. He's going to be the number 1 there. They're already saying he is the number 1. He's getting reps. We can get into Miles Sanders a little bit later on in the episode, but something to keep an eye on. And the last one is George Kittle. I think an abductor strain. I actually forgot about this one. Thank you for whoever wrote it in there. Estimated to miss at least a week. Who wrote shocker? Is that Mac?
Yeah, that was me.
How unusual.
He is just a tight end I am out on. I will never draft him. I'm all set.
I never have.
Hey, he stayed healthy last year, boys.
Yeah, but he didn't do well. And he still missed like 2 games.
How many games did he miss? I'm curious.
I don't know. He missed. I'm sure he missed
Google
something,
machine.
but I don't know. This is where like looking at things up and researching would come in handy.
It would, but yeah, no, he missed. I was gonna say he did miss some games. He missed the first 2. He was injured. We just don't remember it.
Did Matt say 2 games?
I did not hear you say 2 games. I'm sorry.
Bingo.
No,
Maybe if you bring your mic up to your mouth so I can hear you better.
I mean, 15 games is going to be right on par with just about every other tight end besides Kelsey. So I think that's yeah.
He just
a lot of mouths
too
to
much.
feed. A lot of mouths to feed.
Yep. We'll have to discuss that offense
absolutely
some other time. Yeah, it's interesting looking at the breakdown with all of them healthy out there playing now with McCaffrey too. It's interesting. I guess that's part of the reason why I'm out too. All right. Anybody else in the hurt locker here?
There's some other minimal stuff. A lot of people just being held out just because. I know, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Oh, that's another one. I mean, you guys get the update. Stephon Diggs hurt, being walked off the field.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one 5 minutes later. Oh, sorry. He was just yelling at somebody on the sidelines. He's actually walking back now. What?
Mm-hmm.
I have him in Dynasty. I lost my mind.
Oh, man. Well, I have Cooper Kupp and Miles Sanders, so I'm feeling a little...
Oh, yikes.
Start, but...
I was going to say, I need a Bidge, please, for these reporters that are quick to tweet out stuff and people run with the news. It's ridiculous. Like, fix your typos first. You're a writer. It's okay if I do it, but not you. And wait a goddamn minute. Just wait a second.
Gotta be fast.
Yeah, I know. They have to be the first one to tweet it out. Like, ridiculous.
Yep.
But yeah, Miles Sanders, I'm not worried about. A lot of this will be precautionary.
Oh, yeah.
Get a lot of other guys reps. They know what they have in Miles Sanders. But Kupp, I am worried about. I think I'm out on him in the first round. When it gets to the second, okay. I'll take him. But I don't think he will fall that far. But he's like the only one.
I like the concept. I don't know if I'd let him fall out of the first, but it would have to be like if he I'm 12 picking our league. If he made it to me at 12, I'd probably take him. But that's necessarily early second round anyway. So
yeah, true.
All right, guys, we'll get to the topic of this episode. Let's discuss some stuff here. So I got something on QBs. But anybody else want to go first? You want me to? It's a lot of numbers before I get into it. Just to warn you.
Ryan kind of work together on this. So Ryan, if you want to start, right. I can chime in with some stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Just go minimal.
I mean, the only thing that I want to talk about as far as draft day strategy, especially this year, I mean, you have more wide receivers in the top 12 than in recent memory. So everybody's saying it's the year of the receiver. If people in your league, if you're drafting 10, 11, 12, like Regan and I are on Saturday, and people are loading up on all of these wide receivers, they might be reaching, maybe CeeDee Lamb goes 8, maybe Amon-Ra sneaks up into the top 12. If these things are happening, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to take Saquon Barkley as a consolation prize. It's okay to take Bijan Robinson as a consolation prize. Like if you're coming out of the first 2 rounds on the swing with Saquon Barkley and Tony Pollard, like I would be real happy with that. So just be because these things are going to happen. I really do think people have bought into the wide receivers. I think they're scared because now there's more people that know what you were talking about last year, Reese, which is, the top 12 for running back changes every single year.
Yeah, when we're talking about draft strategy in general, that's great advice in general for your draft. And mine is literally just after the first couple rounds. When we get into that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, know your ADP. It's pretty absurd what I'm seeing with players moving. The simplest one I can think of right now off the top of my head is the Jags. Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley goes there. Christian Kirk gets dropped to the 30-something wide receiver, finished 11th last year. Like, it's just like, and that's just an example, but David Montgomery got moved to Detroit, and everyone thinks he's going to be a stud, an absolute stud. He's going the RB 22, just because Jamal Williams finished 14th last year in PPR because he had so many touchdowns. He's not going to get that many touchdowns. David Montgomery, that is. Amon-Ra St. Brown got tackled within the 5 times last year. Jahmyr Gibbs is 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I don't know if I'm stealing info from you, Mac. I haven't.
Nope.
A little right now, but Jahmyr Gibbs, I think he's a next level talent. I think he's just a weapon that they're going to use differently, which I'm wicked excited about in general. But Christian Kirk, what I'm saying is ADP is making him very low. I'm down to take him at the 33, thinking that he's probably not going to fall that far. He's not going to be wide receiver 33. And David Montgomery, I don't think he's going to have the upside of 22. His ADP is running back 22, but he's going to go higher in drafts, I think. People have been really moving on him. So I guess the real thing is just to pay attention to these ADPs. Just because somebody moves somewhere doesn't mean somebody's just going to suck.
I think I'm leaning more towards, and I know we're going to talk about this in a segment in a little bit, but I think I'm leaning more towards right now getting those running backs early, because I feel like those running backs in round 3 and 4, they don't necessarily have the same value as, say, like maybe running backs in the 5th and the 6th. Like, I actually like those running backs a little bit better. The Rashad Whites of the world. James Conner might be falling into that territory. I really like James Conner this year. You got guys like Javonte Williams. I'm curious to see like Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook. Like, these are names that I'm more interested in than guys like Ken Walker and Dameon Pierce, and even like, Miles Sanders to some degree. Travis Etienne, obviously there's some question marks around like how much is Tank Bigsby going to be involved. So I'm kind of worried to load up on. I'm worried in the first 2 rounds to go back-to-back receivers, because I'm a little concerned about these wide receivers that are kind of hanging out between like ADP 30 and somewhere like 48, 49, 50.
I have to totally disagree with you.
Okay, that's fine.
To be honest with you, I think the value, like exactly what Mac was reiterating what I said last year, and that the top 12 change every single year. Yes, you'll probably have about 2 that stay in there. But we're talking about guys like Gibbs, Sanders, Swift, Cam Akers. I'm just looking here real quick. I love Miles Sanders, if I didn't already say that. Najee Harris is there. Like, that 3rd, 4th round is beautiful for running backs.
Najee Harris, I'm seeing him go running back 11 off the board. 26 overall. I am 26 overall. All right. I was going to say
early 3rd. Well, actually, it's end of 2nd, but
no, man. If you're picking 11th or 12th, though, you're not getting another pick till like 35, 36, and at that point, I'm just a little concerned about like the value there. Maybe, I guess, like somewhere around like between 30 and 35 isn't. It's not bad. It's fine. I don't love the upside. Like, I'd rather take a shot on like a DK Metcalf there. I'd rather take a shot if like Mark Andrews is hanging around, snag him instead. But we have very different strategies, different approaches, and we all are very successful doing this. So that's part of it.
There's not takers. There's not one foolproof strategy. I mean, otherwise nobody or everybody would win if everybody just did the same thing. Like, it doesn't make sense. Sometimes you got to let the board fall to you and get your guy, but you got to play the ADP game and like, all right, I'm not going to reach. Like, I'm thinking, like you brought up Najee Harris. I think he's going to be kind of a bust. He gets a lot of work. Okay. But now they're talking about Jaylen Warren getting in there. I don't see him being explosive. He did better once he took the plate out of his cleat and everything, but All right, Najee Harris at 26. I'd rather have Mark Andrews at 27, Chris Olave at 28, or Devonta Smith at 29. That's what I'm reading. Like, I'm going to pass on that running back and then go later for Joe Mixon at 38, Aaron Jones at 41, who, I mean, it's the last year for Aaron Jones. Yeah, he's, 28, 29 by the time the season starts. They're going to run him into the ground. Like, they're going to use him. And I'm okay with that because I'm not drafting the running back in the early rounds. And I'll have to pick up the guy that's hot off the waivers. That's going to be that league winner. You just have to be first on that. And get lucky that way.
Yeah, I think my concept is, Mac, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, say I was drafting at 8 or whatever, and I got Stephon Diggs and it came back, and I got Garrett Wilson, and then it went back around and I got Najee Harris. I'd be pretty excited right there. I think I'm getting 2 elite wide receivers. Or say it was Stephon Diggs. Say I was 9th. I got Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams because the 11-12 didn't want him. They're nervous about him. So I have 2 absolute studs. I got Najee Harris on the way back, and then I get Miles Sanders, Cam Akers, Gibbs, Joe Mixon fall. It could be absurd.
You're looking at like J.K. Dobbins, maybe Damian Pierce,
J.K.
maybe.
Dobbins.
See, that's the territory that I don't love. So Reeks, if we forecast let's look at Saturday because that's our soonest draft, right? You're picking 12th. You're going to come back at 36, and you're faced with Jahmyr Gibbs could be off the board at that point because it's full point PPR. Najee Harris probably off the board at that point. So you're realistically looking at Ken Walker. I expect to slip a little bit, especially in PPR formats. Damian Pierce, PPR formats probably slips a little bit. J.K. Dobbins, same thing. Miles Sanders, not historically used in the passing game a lot. So those are realistically going to be your guys right there.
You said Miles Sanders, and I think he is going to be using the passing game. So
yeah,
yes, he will because he's back with Frank Reich.
Right. He's a 3-down back. I'm saying historically, up until this point, he hasn't been. So if you go Miles Sanders, Joe Mixon there, or some kind of combination like that, because you're forced into the issue because you picked 2 wide receivers to start the draft, which is I think a lot of direction that a lot of people are going to go in. I don't know if I see that too much of a difference between J.K. Dobbins, Damian Pierce, Miles Sanders, Ken Walker, compared to James Conner, who you can get another round or 2 later, Rachaad White, who you can get another round or 2 later, Brian Robinson, who you could probably get in the 7th or 8th round. What is the difference between Brian Robinson and J.K. Dobbins? J.K. Dobbins is going to be competing with Gus Edwards. Robinson's going to be competing with Antonio Gibson. But I'm saying the difference between those guys is not all that significant.
You're right. I agree with you. I feel like ADP, it's not made up. So what ADP is telling you is that their value is pretty high, but they're just not as good as these other studs in the 1-2. So I just think they have a better chance of getting into that top 12. I think that's really where my mindset's at. But I totally understand what you're saying. Some of these players do not belong there. I agree. I agree with you. And some of these guys that are going in the 4th and 5th round, it's just the way it works out.
It's going to be interesting. We're going to see what happens.
I know.
Mac, we're at 44 minutes, and I know you want to talk about quarterbacks. So
I'm editing out 5 minutes, so it's all right. You got anything else on your ADP strategy? You good?
I got players, but we could talk about those with the sleepers and stuff if you want.
All right. I'll try to be quick with my quarterback thing.
I'm interested.
All right, so you hear from Regan. Draft one running back in the top 3 rounds, and then wait till the 10th round.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I was trying to set up that drop, and it didn't work out. All right, guys. So we're talking about the running back sliding down because everybody's going top heavy with the wide receivers. I understand that. There's an argument to be made there. My argument is with the QBs, the pretty boys over here. We're looking at 7 QBs going in the first 4 rounds. This is absurd. You're passing up on huge playmakers and potential league winners in that area. Who am I talking about in the 4th round? 4th round, Calvin Ridley.
Oh.
Joe Mixon. Yeah, all right, maybe he won't be. But I mean,
Could be.
Lamar Jackson going at 32, guys. Like, I don't get it. I'd rather take Devonta Smith or T. Higgins there and wait. Jahmyr Gibbs, this incredibly fast. Have you guys seen that video of his legs moving faster than his body? Like, just, it's insane. I can't wait to see him play. But you're passing up on those huge guys, and it's a lot of our faults. These degenerate fantasy football players here. We're overreacting from last season with the QB advantage. So I get it. I'm hearing a lot of analysts make this argument. So this is my retort to them. Top 3 QBs last year averaged 25 points per game. That's over 3 points more than the 4th place QB, and that was Joe Burrow. And then the rest of the top 12 QBs average 18 points per game. So yeah, that 7-point difference. Yeah, okay, that's an advantage. But that's just last year. In 2021, we had 10 QBs in the top 12 scoring over 20 fantasy points per game. Plus Lamar Jackson, he was 15th, but he got hurt. He only played 12 games. And he was scoring like 22 fantasy points per game. The top 3 averaged 23.5. In 2020, the top 11 QBs had over 20 fantasy points per game. Plus Dak Prescott, who got really hurt, that broken ankle. That really cost me. That sucks seeing him go down. That was only after 5 games, and he was scoring 28 fantasy points per game. They were talking MVP at that time. The top 3 was just under 25 points per game. All right, so we went from 7 points advantage to less than 5. A lot. And I'm rounding numbers, guys. All right, so there are some decimal scoring. 2019 was an anomaly year as well, with Lamar Jackson scoring 28 points per game that year. Then the next 2 of the top 3 was Dak and Jameis fucking Winston. Nobody was drafting Jameis Winston before the 10th round that year. I didn't bring it up, but don't fact check me on that. They had 21.5, but then only 3 other quarterbacks in the top 12 had over 20 points per game. I'm not passing up on these top tier running backs or wide receiver, whoever's going to fall to me in these first 5 rounds, like Keenan Allen, a solid wide receiver 2 that had a stellar second half season last year. Like, I'm going to take that guy who's a proven athlete and not take a fluky type of position of a quarterback when maybe Rich might be able to go off and have a rookie of the year type season, just rushing all over the place. It might be sloppy. You get the Daniel Jones, who was a top 10 QB late last year, and it's all right. You fill out. I'm saying that advantage that we saw last year, it was a bit fluky, and I think it was because defenses adjusted in real NFL now. I'm not talking fantasy points per game. 2022, there were 750 receiving touchdowns. Points per game was 21.9. 2021, 840 receiving touchdowns. Points per game was 23. 2020, 871 receiving touchdowns. Points per game was 24.8. No crowds, so it wasn't loud that year. Yeah, we could forget about that year. Little fluky there. In 2019, 797 receiving touchdowns. Points per game was 22.8. It was just a down year of scoring. The defenses adjusted. They figured out how to slow down some quarterbacks and wide receivers. I think it's offense coordinators who are going to adjust, and the pendulum's going to swing back the other way, and we're going to get back to around 23 points per game scored, and the receiving and passing touchdowns will be scored over 800 again this season. So I'm saying wait on quarterback at least until the 8th round. 7th, 8th round, I'm okay. Unless like Jalen Hurts like falls down to like 6. Okay, fine. I get it. You want that rushing quarterback? Fine. But I think everybody's reaching on quarterbacks this year, and I'm not going to be part of it. I need a drink after that.
I won two leagues last year. One was a super flex, one was a single QB. The super flex league, going into the playoffs, I had Kirk Cousins and Mike White starting, And what saved me there was positional depth. And the same thing in the single quarterback league. I had Daniel Jones, picked him up later in the season, rode him through the championship. He didn't have the best week, 17, and almost cost me. But what saved me? Positional depth. So, like, for me, I'm going to prioritize depth at running back, particularly, and then, being able to kind of have those core receivers and then stream matchups as needed. That was a very successful strategy for me as well. So, yeah, I'm going to stick to that this year, I think. I'm with you, Mac.
I always do.
You drafted Mahomes and Herbert early last year. What are you talking about?
Did
and
I?
that's you did.
Why my team?
That's why you lost.
Don't listen to me last year. It was just not.
You tried something new in the league.
Yep.
You wanted to
running backs. I tried everything
for the sake of the podcast, and you were in like 12 leagues, so it was fine. You tried a different strategy, but that's why you do mocks. You guys want to do a mock? Hit us up. Just a tip. FFP. Invite us to a mock. All right, we'll join. We'll have fun. It's all right. Practice. Everybody should be mocking right now. Go heavy wide receiver to start out. Do heavy running back. Zigging while everybody else is zagging. Just see what happens. See what you like better. And then pick your shot. All right, you have to be around early on somebody. Okay. Because he's not going to quite fall to you at the back end of the other round. All right. Go ahead. Be early.
Guy.
Yep. I'm just saying those first 4 rounds, I'm not taking a quarterback.
Oh, they're going. I really hope they start to drop. Is there a quarterback at all that you would like if he falls to the say 4th round? Are you taking him?
4th round, no. 5th round, yes. Jalen Hurts, the top 3, Josh Allen, Mahomes, but they won't. So I'm not even going to entertain it. But you're going to see. Let's see, Justin Herbert at 44 overall. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And Justin Fields, 46. I'd rather take my first running back there, because if I miss out on that, then I'm looking at those Cam Akers, DeAndre Swift type of guys as my first running back. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to do that. And then Trevor Lawrence at 54 overall. So middle of the 5th round, no.
Trevor Lawrence
in the 5th round.
He
no, thank you.
QB4 this year.
Sneaky MVP.
Doesn't
pick,
matter
right?
though. It doesn't matter.
I'm just saying, if all your QBs, like, say everyone grabs those QBs, and I can go down and get Trevor Lawrence in the 5th, 6th round, and he's going to be a top 4, that I think I'm not minding that value compared to all these other QBs gone.
You can get Geno. You can get Geno Smith in the 10th round, and he's the same as Trevor Lawrence. Get that value there. Yes, he is.
I love Geno Smith. That's why I'm keeping him on my keeper league. But just in general, I think Trevor Lawrence. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking him probably in the 5th round. At the time. No, I'm not. But I do think he is going to finish 4th. He was 8th last year. He's being taken 8th this year, and they added Calvin Ridley and Tank Bigsby. A 2nd year for Travis Etienne, 2nd year for him with Christian Kirk. Like, it's going to be a great year. They re-signed Evan Ingram. Because there's so many mouths to feed, I don't like taking any of the skill position, but him himself is going to have a phenomenal year.
Okay. I like him as a sneaky MVP pick. He's like 2,800 for the MVP, and if they can get that clicking like they did with Carson Wentz with Doug Peterson back in the day when he had Jeremy Maclin and Deshaun Jackson that he was throwing to back then before Carson Wentz got hurt. Like, I don't know. I'm throwing out names that were Eagles at one point. I'm not even sure. Darren Sproles.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying everybody's taking the quarterback early in the top 5 rounds. I'm all set. I'm going to pick up the studs at the other positions instead.
I like the strategy.
Thank you. Don't take Geno in the 10th round. He's for me.
What about Tua, guy?
He's going in like the 8th round, man.
Oh, God.
7th, 8th round, which is too early for me, too.
I don't hate it in the 8th round. I would consider it in the 8th.
8th round is my, if I'm not in love with the player, my wide receiver or running back, and I don't love that pick, and like, all right, what quarterback do I want? I'd rather get him around early.
Problem is, I do that sometimes in like the 6th.
Oh, well,
So
all
I'm
right.
just like,
Well,
well, these guys suck.
have your dividing line and see what happens there. Okay,
it.
cool. Thank
All
you.
right.
They do not suck.
Mm-hmm.
Hines has been coming all night long, but then he pulls out, and it's just hard. It's been a while since he's seen a hole that big.
A lot of numbers.
It's been a while since I talked that rapidly and like without interruption. All right. All right, takers. We're gonna get to. Do you guys want to do sleepers? We're already almost an hour. I don't know if you guys have any sleepers or busts that who are you avoiding right now in drafts? Like Saturday, we have our draft. We keep on bringing that up. Jonathan Taylor, unanimous. We're avoiding. Kamara with his 3-game suspension. What round are you comfortable with him? Double-digit rounds? A little before that?
I think
No,
it's
I
gonna
think-
be before that.
Go ahead, Reese. Yeah.
No, I think they've been saying he's looking amazing in practice. He's
Yeah.
back
What?
to his old self.
No, don't
he's gonna
believe
miss
that
3
hype.
games.
Don't
He's gonna
believe
come
that.
back fresh. So I think he won't be good his first game. He might not be good his second game, but around week 6, he's gonna be a stud and back to a. Hopefully they don't grab Kareem Hunt, but I think he'll be back to a top 10 running back.
I don't think Kareem Hunt will
10.
matter all that much. I'm super high on Alvin Kamara this year. I really am. I think
Cool.
what's hindered him over the last couple of years since Breeze has left is his usage in the passing game. And I think with Derek Carr, he's proven that he's taken a guy like Josh Jacobs, who wasn't known as being a receiving back, and has been able to feed him 40, 50, 60 targets.
Yeah.
And we've saw him produce in the passing game. So I think Alvin Kamara, I'm super high on him. As far as rounds, I mean,
He's going
probably-
at 42 on sleeper
Yeah.
right now. 42
Overall?
right now. 42 overall. Yep.
yeah, that's
Or
what
is
I
it-
was going to say. I'd probably consider taking him in like late 3rd, early, like in the 4th. I
say
think I would be
4th.
okay with that.
Third's
Yeah.
a little early for me.
3rd's a little early for me too, but in the 4th round, I think I would take him for sure.
So you take him over Aaron Jones and Damian Pierce and Miles
Yeah,
Sanders.
upside's way higher. Upside is
Okay.
way higher with Alvin Kamara. You could easily get a top 5 run it. Like, what's his upside if he's used in the passing game again? Number 1, right? Like that's his ceiling.
He hasn't been that
It's
way
probably not
since 2020, though.
Sure, but he also has been part of like really poor offenses. It's not necessarily
Crappy
him. So
quarterbacks.
now the floor is low too. So it's like
Mhm.
it's higher risk than say like an Aaron Jones or a Miles Sanders. But like the payout, I mean, he could easily win you the league if you're picking a guy like that in the 4th round, and he ends up finishing as a top 5 running back.
Yeah, let me clarify. He was number 1 overall in 2020. In 2021, he was number 8. So yeah, if he gets
That's
back to the
horrible.
top 10, no, I just wanted to clarify. I was
Yeah.
wrong. He's 20 years old, man. Like, I'm
20 what? You mean?
28, old man.
I thought you said he's 20 years old. I was like,
No,
that's young.
I wish.
I don't
man.
think he's in the NFL yet.
He could be. Brees Hall was 20 when he started, right? Speaking of,
Yeah.
are we passing on Brees Hall?
That would be a guy I would probably pump the brakes on, especially at his ADP. I think what's he now, like 31, 32, I want to say. Which means he's probably being drafted as like running back 14 or 15. I could be
33.
way off. Okay, it's 33. What about running back? Do you have that information?
12.
Yeah,
12?
I don't
too
see him as a
early.
top 12 running back. Yeah. So he's a guy that I would certainly pass
Yep.
on at that time.
A guy I'm passing on, Devontae Adams, ADP in the 1st round. Jimmy G, the steering wheel. Passing him the ball, he needs to pass over 8. No, I'm sorry. He's only got to pass to him 8 games because that's all he'll stay healthy with. And then you have Hoyer. But Jimmy G has to have over 500 passing attempts for Devontae Adams. He needs volume. He needs that 30% target share
That's
But-
what he doesn't do.
of over 500 passing attempts, which Jimmy G does not do. They're not good enough. And Josh McDaniels, like, I can see Devontae Adams getting traded out of there, but he had to readjust his contract and everything. But he's not happy there. That team's gonna burn this year. I'm all set with Devontae Adams in the 1st round.
Yeah, I think he's still going to get peppered with targets, but I think his touchdowns are going to drop. His big plays are going to drop. It's just they're going to pepper him, and he's going to have like 11 to 12 points a game tops. And once in a while, he'll get a touchdown because he just makes something happen because he's that good.
Oh, he's top 3 best wide receiver in the league. Like,
absolutely.
You can't argue that.
One of my favorite players, but I just don't. I can picture him finishing at like wide receiver 15, and you're taking him in the first round.
Yeah, I could see him falling, unfortunately, just because of the quarterback problem.
Mm-hmm.
So let somebody else draft him, wait
Where's
a few
his ceiling?
weeks, trade for him. Well, ceiling's number 1 overall. If he
With
gets
Jimmy G, though, what
No,
do
with
you
Jimmy
think
G?
his ceiling is? Best case scenario.
At best case, 12th wide receiver. Best. That is Jimmy G passing over 500 times. Josh Jacobs not playing, so they have to pass to Devontae Adams a lot.
That's a good point too. Yeah, not worth it that early. I think he's going to be a good value if he drops later on. I think we're going to see him drop, but right now in the first round or right on the turn, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where the ADP doesn't make sense.
It's still early. It is still early.
It's early.
August 10th right now, so you're probably looking at a lot of best ball ADPs as well. A lot of it will fluctuate. So
I think one guy I'm looking at, I don't know if you were about to transition to sleepers, but
yes.
Now that we've talked about it, like if Kareem Hunt, if there's still speculation around whether or not he's signing with the Saints or the Colts, I'm throwing out like I'm picking him late, taking the late flyer on Kareem Hunt, because if he ends up in Indy as the lead back,
yeah,
you're picking that guy in double-digit rounds. I mean, that's a huge plus.
He might go undrafted this weekend, and yeah, pick him up later or just with your last pick. Yeah, I don't mind it. But we were talking off screen. Like, yeah, if I was a running back, I would be wait for these camp injuries, these preseason injuries. Then your price will go up, and the holdouts and stuff.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think he's playing the right game. Do some visits and stuff, and make them play off of each other. Sleeper for me, wide receiver Romeo Doubs, another guy that's pretty much going undrafted, late round ADP 157 versus Christian Watson at 58, who excelled. I love Christian Watson. Don't get me that wrong. But I'm not banking on him scoring touchdowns every game in that 4-game stretch. 7 touchdowns in 4 games, weeks 10 through 13. Just so happens that Dobbs was out those games. So I'm not seeing that volume happening to Christian Watson again. I love Romeo. They're having a nice connection, him and Love, especially during 2-minute drills from reports I'm reading. He's throwing the ball to him. So take a late flyer out on him and be patient. See what happens.
Like it. I got 2 sleepers. I already told you guys about Trevor Lawrence. He's going 8. He can't fit. He's not going to finish at 8. It's absolutely impossible. He's going to be above that. So just know that.
You want to bet?
Yes.
All right. First bet of the year.
He finishes better than 8.
He finishes better than 8. Oh, I will take lower than 8. I'll give you 8.5 if you want.
Wow.
Big pad of paper.
Lock it in.
First one.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Regan.
Okay.
I'll finish this out later.
No more Marmite this year.
No, I will throw up in your face because that almost happened already.
I lost best to you guys. You guys got to think of something for me this weekend.
You lost so many assignments.
I lost a lot.
I'm liking Khalil Herbert, but we won't get into that one. I think my 2 sleepers, are Deontay Johnson and Sky Moore. I really like both those guys just because of ADP.
Sky Moore, all about it.
Juju, 101 targets last year in Kansas City, now in New England. Sky Moore's been playing with the ones, especially with Kadarius Toney out. Kadarius Toney is not going to play a full season.
No, that's another guy I'm not touching. No, forget it. Kadarius Toney. All
So
set.
you got Sky Moore. He's going 127th overall. That's round 11. You're going to get a guy that has a possibility of taking over Juju's spot. Juju finished 27th overall last year in PPR.
And he missed a lot of games.
And he missed a lot of games. Didn't play the best, but he still had 101 targets. I will take 101 targets from Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City offense in the 11th round. Absolutely. Deontay Johnson, wide receiver 32 going off the board, I think, this year. So I looked at his stats 2 years ago. I know it was with Big Ben, but Big Ben was definitely not the best that year. He had the same exact stats, literally, like almost verbatim, like same catches, same targets, same yards, but he had 7 touchdowns. He finished at wide receiver 21. I don't see him getting 7, but I see him easily getting 5. He got 0 this past year, and it was gross. If he got, I think if you looked at his numbers, and if he got 8, I think his average for his career is like 7 to 8. If he had gotten 8, he would have been wide receiver 12. I know that's a big thing to say. Hey, he can get 8 touchdowns, but if he can get 5, he's going to be wide receiver 20, 22. You're not getting a huge value, but you're definitely getting somebody a little bit better. So I just think his 32 ADP is a little bit far-fetched.
He should beat his ADP, that's for sure. That's what you're looking for.
Yep, those are
in these drafts.
So
he's a player I've targeted across dynasty leagues, and was able to pick him up in a few. So, yeah, I'm excited about Deontay Johnson. I think he's going to exceed expectations too. I was going to say Reegs as well. Like any Kansas City receiver, I think right now they're all getting hyped up. If you want to take a dart throw at any of them, Richie James, Rashid Rice. I know Rice is hurt, but he was getting some pretty good news. Jordan Addison apparently has been like very impressive at camp. So Jordan Addison's another guy that,
nice
he's probably like 8th, 9th round right now. It might be a little bit earlier than that. I can't quite remember, but yeah, he's going to be heavily targeted in Minnesota. And if he can kind of emulate what Devontae Smith, a very similar player, did in his rookie season, 65 catches, somewhere around like 700-800 yards, 7 touchdowns, something like that. I think he'll be somewhat inconsistent, but a somewhat regular play as well. So,
yeah, Jordan Addison, end of the 7th, beginning of the 8th. That's where he's going. Yeah, I think I'm gonna target the sophomore wide receivers over the rookie wide receivers this year. Besides JSN, I think that guy definitely for sure. I'm gonna probably take him.
I would love Quentin Johnson in a keeper league. Next year, after Keenan Allen and Mike Williams
Dynasty
possibly leave. Oh, Dynasty as well, but still. Did you see Dalton Kincaid in practice?
We have to have a whole nother episode on these rookie tight ends, man.
Dude, he might.
This is getting out of control.
He's already put over Knox. He's officially the number 1 tight end.
The depth charts don't mean shit. Get out of here.
You don't know that.
I do too. Yeah, true.
That's me.
Thank God there's audiobooks now. All right, takers, we're going to get to the leftovers. You made it this far in the episode. I don't know why you would, but you can find us on demand, Apple, Spotify, and the rest of the places you get podcasts. Rate and review where you can. You can watch it on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share with your league mates. Our tips are for everybody. Your league mates, your siblings. Well.
Ryan's mom.
I mean, definitely. All of them.
You're going to say it's for you.
And your girl.
Too soon.
Get her involved in fantasy football. All right, guys, leftovers.
And his ability to suck in these balls.
So, guys, leftovers for me. Quick food take. So, with the BJs, you guys know I love BJs. I'm like, oh man, $5 for a carton of plums. I love plums. I'm only the one eating them. There's like 25
liter of plums.
Like liter of plums. There's 25 plums. I've had 3 plums a day, and I'm sick of plums.
So you gotta just run through the fruit at BJ's.
Like
I could feel it deep down in my plums. Oh, man.
But anyway, just because it's a good deal doesn't mean you should buy it. That's just my PSA.
I like it.
25 plubs is a bit too much in a week. You guys got anything for the leftovers?
I got like spoiler review for the Turtles movie.
Spoiler free or spoiler alert?
Spoiler alert, I would say.
No, don't you dare.
All right.
You can. Go ahead.
It's honestly, I'm gonna make it very vague, and they just changed up the background story for the Turtles in this one.
I heard.
Kind of throws me off.
Yeah, people aren't liking it. It's more for kids, though. I'm guessing, huh?
I think there's a lot of jokes in there that are hidden. Some really good ones.
Okay.
That like I was like, no way they just said that. Just because it's the same people that made Superbad and Knocked Up, I think, or something like that. It's Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
There you go. So there's some great stuff, but at the same time, it was like a comic book in live action. It was like the Spider-Verse, but almost grainier. If that could even be possible.
Yep.
But I liked the concept. It was cool. It was different. My daughter loved it. But I was a little pissed off just about the backstory.
It sucks, man. I'm not going to go see it now. Thanks. You just cost them $20.
It's $8.75 if you go on Tuesday, Wednesday.
There you go. Did you buy the kid price at the kiosk for both of you and just walk right in?
Bought them online, and it's still $8.25. This is bullshit, or $8.75.
During my broke days, I would go to AMC, go to the kiosk, and you buy the kid price.
They'd let you in?
Yeah, they don't check. They don't care. They see the ticket. All right, cool. Thanks.
We'll just scribble a kid real quick.
It's hilarious.
College days.
One thing you should watch that I started watching is Jury Duty on Amazon Prime, which is I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's a pretty good premise, and I'm really enjoying it. It's got James Marsden in it. There's no other like noticeable actors, and that's part of it. There's like one guy in a simulated jury where everybody's actors, and he's not like, told that everybody else is actors. So he's like, it's fantastic so far.
like
So
they
check
did
it
that
out. Jury
somewhere
Duty, Amazon Prime.
Comedy?
Yeah.
Thriller? What is it?
It's comedy. Oh yeah,
It's
for sure,
comedy. All right.
Yeah.
It has to be a comedy. They copied Jim Carrey.
It's like a reality documentary comedy thing.
Gotcha.
True.
So
Yeah.
like, kind of like, okay, like that. I was gonna say like The Office with jury, something like
It's
that.
it's like The Office, except this guy has no idea it's a TV show. Yeah. Yep. So pretty
Cool.
good.
Well, thank you for
All
that,
right,
guys. That was good. This is wrong one. Nope, still wrong one.
This reminds me of Need for Speed Underground. Good game.
Need for Speed. The movie sucked.
Movie's coming
But yeah,
out.
the games are good. No, was it Gran Turismo?
Oh, yep.
Gran Turismo. That's the one I'm talking about.
They
Yeah.
delayed it a bit, but that one looks awesome. I'm trying to
Are
bring
you-
up the outro music, but
Are you-
I
There
do.
we go. You don't hear it? All right.
I do.
Yep. Well, takers, good luck with your drafts. Good luck to you guys. I'm going to kick your ass. Don't take my sleepers. I'll kill you.
I'm just going to be the show bowl from the parking lot before the draft. Oh, wait, that's my driveway.
Let me type out the address on here on the ticker. Come hang out with us, takers. Yeah, I'm done giving away my sleepers before that draft because everybody takes Amon-Ra before and Pat Fryermuth.
Yep, sorry about your luck, Johnny.
Yep.
Dicks.
That's hilarious. I was telling somebody about that at work today. That,
I bet you were.
Because he actually knows you because he's seen you at one of the drafts. He's like,
Nice.
That's got to be hilarious.
Pisses me off, man.
Yep.
But you know who doesn't piss me off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucked it up.
Good night, takers. Say hello to
Good
your mother
night.
for me.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.